New kid on the block with 24 years experience. Riverside Savings, serving New Jersey and the nation for 100 years. And by Jersey City State College. Experience cooperative education at Jersey City State College.
Hi everyone, I'm Matt Loughlin. Ward Field in Kenilworth is the site for this afternoon's game. A beautiful fall afternoon as two undefeated teams, both ranked in the TV3 top 10 polls, square off, and two arch rivals as Roselle Park and Brearley will meet here today before the TV3 cameras. Working with me on today's game is Al Reynoso. And Al, we have done this rivalry in the past. We know it's a big game, and perhaps what points out just what kind of a rivalry this is and the psychological edge that one team may try to get over another. Just moments ago, Brearley was out here warming up all by themselves. Roselle Park has elected to arrive at Ward Field just moments before kickoff.
Well, I don't know if it's an intimidation factor or an anti-intimidation factor by Roselle Park, Matt, but it certainly is something that's unusual. They're going to warm up at their field, jump on the bus, take the ride down Fayette Avenue, make a left at the boulevard, and get here and ready to play football.
Both of these teams like to keep the ball on the ground. That's no secret. We may see 10, 12 passes this afternoon. They have been effective, both clubs, in getting out to that 3-0 mark by running the ball. But maybe in a rivalry, Al, it's not so much who carries the ball the best. It's not so much who is the one who's in on the most tackles. Really, you've got to look for leadership, I think. And for Brearley, their captains are Mike McCoy and Rob Canterman, and a lot's on their shoulders today.
Well, these two young men are the captains. They're the ones that have experienced the rivalry maybe a little more than the younger fellas on the team. They're the ones that have to lead this team into battle this afternoon. And you're right, Matt. It's the kind of rivalry that there are a lot of stars, but it's going to be in the trenches that's going to count.
What about Roselle Park, Al? Last year they had a real fine season, 7-3-1, but two of those losses, one in the regular season, one in the state championship game, came to Brearley, and neither game was really close. 20-3 in the regular season and 35-6 in the championship. Revenge a factor, or are they coming in saying, wow, we were hammered last year?
No, I think that Roselle Park has the edge in terms of the revenge factor. They were beaten twice quite badly by Brearley, and this is the opportunity they have to come back and even up the score. Those players at Roselle Park have experienced a defeat at the hands of Brearley, and they want to get them back this afternoon.
Well, John Wagner said that last year at Roselle Park, the football team just missed out on a state championship. The wrestling team won a sectional crown, but just missed out on the state championship. The same holds true for baseball. A lot of the athletes we'll see today played on those three teams. And they said, listen, we just got to go one more step, increase it a notch, and we can come away with 3 state titles. He feels that effort may show through today. We're going to take a short break. We'll come back with the opening kickoff, so stay with us.
Montclair Bloomfield Ford, your key to greater automotive value. For 30 years, Montclair Bloomfield Ford has been servicing your community's automotive needs. Let us serve you.
Hi, I'm Joe Carley, inviting you to visit me, my staff, and our 30-bay service center. Our insurance-approved body shops and our ideal sales, leasing, and rental facilities. See us for the low-price 86-car truck of your choice.
And Montclair Bloomfield Ford features over 50 A1 quality used cars. Montclair Bloomfield Ford, 15 Bloomfield Avenue in Montclair.
We understand that in today's world, you need more than what your parents needed when they came to America. You need knowledge and skills and the opportunity to try out what you've learned in business and industry. In the same tradition as Lady Liberty, Jersey City State College stands for opportunity. We give you college together with on-the-job experience. We give you the power to change your tomorrow. We're the co-op school. Call 1-800-624-1046.
Looking for the car of your dreams? Riverside's Auto Plan can help. In fact, for home mortgages, home equity, construction, and commercial loans, look to Riverside. See Riverside for checking accounts, CDs, money funds, or any other type of banking service. Even that get-away-from-it-all vacation. Look to Riverside for all your banking needs. Now you know why we say we're on your side. Bank on it.
When you're planning a special reception or party, plan on the newly renovated Westwood in Garwood. You'll enjoy luxurious banquet rooms, mouth-watering meals, and professional service from business meeting and seminars to elegant wedding receptions. Call the newly renovated Westwood.
We're the brand new kid on the block with 24 years experience, and I think that sets us apart.
The Westwood, North Avenue in Garwood. Convenient from the Garden State Parkway.
Both teams ready for football as Roselle Park in their away white jerseys with the maroon trim and the maroon pants will take on the homestanding Brearley Bears, who come into the contest at 3-0, though only 2 of those victories are on the field. They were scheduled to open their season against Governor Livingston, but by now the story familiar. Governor Livingston not playing varsity football for this year, and so they picked up a forfeit victory. The officials for today's game, our referee is Bob Longordo. The umpire is George Fagan. Jim Satterley is the field judge. Walter Omacht is the head linesman, while the back judge is Ed Meskill, and the clock operator John Krisiak. The captains meeting at the center of the field. Len Zenario, Gene Mirabella, Dennis McCaffrey, and Mike Middachone are the Roselle Park captains. Meanwhile, we have showed you Mike McCoy and Rob Cannerman. They are the team captains. The game captains, Ken Hine and Scott Miller for Brearley High School. The Brearley cheerleaders, who on the day of the Roselle Park game go throughout both Kenilworth and Garwood, which are the 2 communities sending students to Kenilworth now, and they decorate the players' homes. So this game has importance for both teams, not only conference-wise, but also in terms of who owns the bragging rights to this part of Union County. And if you speak with both coaches during the week, you can sense the intensity, but both will say, well, the game means more for the other team.
They both say that the other team is making more of it than there is, but there's no question about the fact that this game is a very, very important factor in whether or not these 2 teams qualify for the state playoffs at the end of the season, and in fact may meet again as they did last year. And last year, as you recall, Kenilworth, Brearley defeated Roselle Park in the regular season. They faced each other nose to nose in the playoffs, and again Brearley came back victorious. So the revenge factor we mentioned at the beginning of the game, and of course the spirit and emotional level has raised tremendously right here before the kickoff.
Roselle Park has elected to receive. Pat Olenek will kick off for Brearley. And we're slated to see deep Phil Carpenter and Gene Mirabella for the Panthers. Rob Kinney also joining those 2 back deep. Olenek, a sophomore, 5'10", 230 pounds. He starts at the nose guard position. And we're underway. Good boot. And Carpenter slips and falls. The ball goes into the end zone, and Roselle Park will begin things on the offense, Al. 1st and 10. In high school ball, you're not allowed to run a ball that's kicked into the end zone. Let's check the offense for the Panthers. And up front, they have Eric Lonecker, the left tackle. And Dave Bartzler is the left guard. The center, John Popovich. Mike Heller and Joe Sweeto form the rest of that line. And the backs and receivers, Tokarski, Mirabella, Zenario, Carpenter, and McCaffrey, with the quarterback, John Cunningham. Gene Mirabella with the carry. Mirabella is the leading ball carrier for this club coming into the game. 67 carries on 417 yards. The next busiest carrier is Len Zenario, who has only carried 28 times. So we really look for Mirabella to do the bulk of the ball carrying. Cunningham, only a junior, one of those heady, no mistakes types of players. Took advantage of an injury to who was designated to be the starting quarterback, and in fact was the starting quarterback last year, Steve Scribano. He stepped in, and they've been unable to get him out of the lineup. Tokarski is the man in motion, and Tokarski has a first down. The sophomore breaking out across the 30-yard line up to the 34. And Chris Tokarski with the first down. Defensively, Brearley goes in a 5-man front. Their left end is Scott Miller. Next to him, Brett Hubbinger. Olenek is the nose guard. Canterman and Ramos form the right side. The linebackers are McCoy and Chelensky. And in the secondary, Ken Kenny, Ken Heim, and the safeties, Mike Ramos and Joe Capizano. Mirabella getting the call, and Mirabella lunges forward for 5. It'll be 2nd down and 5 for Roselle Park.
Roselle Park has moved the ball very well at the off-tackle spot. They blocked down and kicked out. There have been some excellent examples, especially on Tokarski's carry, of the way to block down and out with a pulling guard for that off-tackle play. Very good offense so far, and Brearley has not penetrated the line of scrimmage to get into that backfield and break it up.
They'll go to the fullback, Len Zenario, and Zenario is up to midfield. He has a first down. Kinney and Ramos making the stop. The statistics show that the defensive line has most of the tackles for Brearley. That's the way you'd like to see it. There has been virtually no penetration through to the linebackers or the secondary by the first 2 on-field opponents for the Bears. But Roselle Park has been successful in moving the ball in the early going. Mirabella looks to go left side, and he does a little tightrope down the sidelines, and it's another first down.
Excellent play calling by Roselle Park. They come, let's take a look at the way they run this play to the left. They block down, they kick out. Watch the card, 67-53. You see him come around the corner, lead up, get it blocked. And Mirabella reads it and legs it up for the first down. Excellent play calling. They've gone wide, they've gone wide. And when they had him looking wide, Len Zenario came up the middle on the dive.
Mirabella, one of those 3 sports stars who just missed out in winning an overall state championship, playing football, wrestling, and also playing baseball last year. He's one of the leaders of that Panthers squad.
One of the things that these teams have in common is, in order to have successful athletic programs in the Division I, Group 1 team level, you've got to have all your athletes playing all of your sports. And Roselle Park and Brearley do an excellent job of getting all their kids out there on the field, no matter what the sport is. Strong sports programs at both these schools in the Group 1 category.
Carpenter had 4 yards at 2nd and 6. They go on the counter to Mirabella, and it's another first down. Roselle Park, very impressive.
Beautiful job on the right side by Mike Heller coming across on the trap. They ran it up the gut. And again, an excellent sequence. Let's take a look. Number 53. Watch the block he gets here. Bang, Mirabella turns it up inside. One little cut here may have taken him all the way. It was a great job defensively by Brearley to prevent that from going all the way. But Roselle Park is on a roll.
Inside the 20, they go up the gut to Zenario. Zenario met head-on. I believe that was Brett Hubbinger who met him just across the line of scrimmage. Indeed, it was the 6'5", 235-pound senior. Zenario with a short pickup.
Great job by Hubbinger that time. Joe Sweeto had driven back his man, and as Zenario came inside there, he could have cut behind number 70, the right tackle's block, because he had a lot more room to his right. Let's see what they come up with now.
It'll be Mirabella once again, and Mirabella is into the secondary and is down to the 6-yard line. He does not have your classic halfback 4.2, 4.4 speed. I don't know if anybody's got 4.2 speed. But he's more of a 4.9 40 man, but he's very difficult to break down, and he looks to have those elusive moves, Al. Gives you the hip, takes it away.
I'm very impressed by Mike Heller, the right guard. He pulls and makes that hole open up. Mirabella knows just where to go on that inside trap.
It'll be Mirabella once again. He gets across the 5-yard line down to about the 3 before he was dragged down by Mike Chelensky. Chelensky, the junior, a linebacker, also also the starting fullback for Brearley. He has been wearing a football uniform and performing at a high level for the Bears for now 3 years. Gained over 1,000 yards as a freshman.
Brearley has to penetrate the offensive line.
2nd and 3, Mirabella will not get in. Again, Chelensky, the first man in on the stop. It'll be 3rd down and goal from the 2.
That time Brearley got into their goal line defense. Almost a gap 8 all the way across. They call it a 6-5, but you've got to block it like a gap 8. And it's a little more difficult to pull people and get along the line of scrimmage. Roselle Park might be better off going straight ahead.
They'll go to Mirabella, who will look to get outside, and he is in for his 10th touchdown of the year. Gene Mirabella caps a long drive, an 80-yard drive for the Panthers, and with 6:46 to play in the first quarter, Roselle Park has leaped out to a 6-0 lead.
Let's take a look now. We're going to go off tackle. Watch 53. He's going to lead you to the play. He comes around the corner, turns it up. There's the play and the block at the goal line. Mirabella crashes in. 6 points for the Panthers. Kenilworth has not been able to stop them yet.
Mike Small on for the extra point. Dennis McCaffrey, the holder, and it's up and right through the uprights. Mike Small now 8 for 9 in the extra point category on the season, and Roselle Park has jumped down to a 7-0 lead. And Al, they barely scored that many points against Brearley in 2 outings last year. They only scored 9. So that's got to be a lift.
I'm very impressed by that offensive drive by Roselle Park. They did what they wanted, and they handled the Brearley defensive line of scrimmage. They just blocked down, kicked out, drove up the middle on the traps, and did whatever they wanted on the ground. There's no secret that we're going to stay on the ground. Brearley has to move their linebackers up. If I were Coach Bobby Taylor right now, I'd say to the defense, we've got to blitz linebackers and penetrate the line of scrimmage, because if we let them form up in the backfield and get that running game going, they're going to run it down our throats all afternoon. Meanwhile, now the problem for Brearley is offense.
Small will kick off. Mike Ramos, Joe Capizano back deep. It's handled by Capizano at the 11. And a good return by the junior up to the 35-yard line. A 24-yard return for Capizano. And let's see what Brearley can do on offense. Up front, they have going left to right, Tom Ramos, Dom Pascarella, Mike McCoy, Rob Canterman, and Brett Hubbinger. Their backs and receivers, Capizano and Chelensky, Heim and Kyriakaitis are the receivers. Scott Miller is the tight end. They go to Chelensky, and Chelensky pulls his way up to the 40-yard line for a pickup of 5. Gary Foucher, a junior, is the man who runs the attack for the Bears. And as you can see by his statistics and Cunningham's, the ticking in the background you hear is the clock running, because it's going to be kept on the ground. A look at the Brearley sideline. They trail 7-0 in the early going. First possession for the Bears, less than 7 minutes to play. Here's Capizano, the leading ball carrier, and he is into the secondary across midfield, and he's down to the 45-yard line. That's a 15-yard pickup and a first down.
Beautiful job by Capizano on the inside trap. Let's take a look at the blocking here. You'll see 66 and 56 cross blocking. He finds the seam, breaks it up, and I'll tell you, a touchdown saving tackle right there by number 82, Dennis McCaffrey.
No gain by Capizano. Well, maybe he'll pick up a half yard. We'll see where they mark it. Middle of the line, led by Eric Loniger, the nose guard. And the tackles, Joel Luwadi and Mike Heller making the stop. Let's set that Roselle Park defense. Besides that middle 3, Mike Midichone and Rich Miranda will man the ends. The linebackers, and there are 3 of them, Mirabella, Zenario, and Jeff Horowitz. And in the secondary, Phil Carpenter, Mike Small, and Dennis McCaffrey. Second down, we'll call it 10. They go on that counter, and Chelensky has a first down. Tries to stiff arm Small and is driven out of bounds. Brings the ball down to the 26-yard line. It's another first down. and neither team having difficulty running the ball.
Cholensky just rumbled through that defense. A big kid at 6'4", 225. He's had tremendous experience ever since he was a freshman. He was starting here for Brearley as a frosh. Here he is in his junior year, and he ran that ball with a lot of authority up the middle.
As he was driven out of bounds, the clock is stopped. 4:58 to play in the opening quarter. They'll go up the gut, and Cholensky picks up a couple.
Gary Foucher, the quarterback, number 14, the junior at the helm for Brearley, carries out his fakes very, very well. After he hands off, you'll see him come out to the side as if he has the ball. He did it right in the first play, and Mirabella gave him a little love pack to let him know he's not going to run to the right side with a fake. Let's see how the deception of this Brearley offense works.
We might look for Foucher on the counter option. He likes to run it. He runs it very well. This time he'll pitch. Loose ball. And it is recovered by Zenario. Foucher threw the ball back. I think Mirabella was the one who, he didn't cause it, but he was there to interrupt the flow of the play. And we'll take a look at it.
Here it is. Foucher on the option. You'll see him.
Luwadi comes up.
He gets confronted. He pitches it out. The man who was to take the pitch, there's Mirabella, 32. The man who was to receive the pitch out was a little bit beyond the play. That was Capizano, and the fumbled turnover, Roselle Park ball. Let's see if they capitalize.
They're at the 40. They go on the counter, and a short pickup for Phil Carpenter. Scott Miller, the defensive end, making the stop after a 2-yard pickup. Miller, the younger brother of Ed Miller, who was a star here at Brearley High School and is now playing for the University of Pittsburgh. In fact, his head coach, Mike Gottfried, was in visiting on Tuesday, scouting some of the Brearley players, looking at some film, doing some recruiting in New Jersey. Mirabella once again gets the call, and Mirabella is hit by Canterman, and then Canterman brings him down after a pickup of about 3. So it'll be 3rd down and a little less than 5 yards to go.
3rd and 5 is a passing down normally. Both these teams like to stay on the ground. Brearley is doing a much better job penetrating the line of scrimmage and jamming things up there. On both those last plays, an inside trap, there was a lot of congestion, and in the off-tackle play, there was a lot of pursuit along the line of scrimmage. Whistle blown. Let's see, we might have a
timeout for an equipment check. One of the Brearley Bears, not sure who it is. Might be Chris Squilaro. Couldn't check the number. At any rate, we're back and ready for action. Up the gut to Zenario, and Zenario will be short of the 1st down. So after the turnover, an important defensive stand for Brearley, Al.
Very, very important for Brearley to stop Roselle Park. Get a takeaway. Let's look at the defense on this. Watch how the Brearley defense now is kind of hand fighting along the line of scrimmage and keeping their feet. The linebackers are up very, very tight. No one expected to throw the ball on either side of the line of scrimmage that time. And that may be a factor down the line a little ways when no one is expecting the pass. It would be a big surprise to complete one.
Phil Carpenter's punt handled by Mike Ramos at the 23-yard line, and the sophomore is brought down across the 25-yard line. He was brought down by John Popovich. Popovich, a 5'9", 205-pound senior. He is the starting center for Roselle Park. 2nd possession of the afternoon. Less than 2 minutes to go in the 1st quarter. Roselle Park leading on a Gene Mirabella 1-yard touchdown run. And Mike Small's extra point.
Brearley running out of an I formation, likes to run the veer. Out of this set, it's difficult.
Capizano met in the backfield and dropped for a loss by Mike Midichone, 6-foot senior, 185 pounds, considered by John Wagner to be one of the best defensive ends in the county, and we'll take a look.
Here it is on the replay. You'll see Midichone comes crashing in from his defensive end position. They tried to fake to Cholensky and come back the other way. Capizano took the ball. Midichone was right there.
Middachone led the team in sacks last year. He had 15. They go up to the middle to Capizano, and that doesn't work, as Mike Heller, the junior, makes the stop. Heller making a name for himself in the early going, both offensively and defensively. 45 seconds remain in the first quarter. I'm Matt Loughlin, with me Al Reynoso.
You know, the coaches say about Heller that he's a technician, and he has impressed me offensively at the right guard position when he pulls and traps and leads around the horn, but he's doing a good job defensively.
Foucher going around the right side, dragged down from behind. Loniger and Middachone in on the stop. It'll be a punting situation. And Bob Taylor looking on from the sidelines, not happy with the way things have gone. A turnover and a pickup of a yard in 2 possessions. John Wagner offering some instruction to Dennis McCaffrey along the far sideline.
See him over there talking back to Spag.
Pat Spagnoletti, assistant coach for Roselle Park, and the dad of Chris Spagnoletti, a player we saw play for Colonia earlier in the year. That's the end of the first quarter. We'll take a short break. We'll be back.
Looking for the car of your dreams? Riverside's Auto Plan can help. In fact, for home mortgages, home equity, construction, and commercial loans, look to Riverside. See Riverside for checking accounts, CDs, money funds, or any other type of banking service. Even that get-away-from-it-all vacation. Look to Riverside for all your banking needs. Now you know why we say, we're on your side. Bank on it.
We're back at Ward Field. Matt Loughlin along with Al Reynoso. And a look at the Brearley fans. They can't be happy with the way things have gone so far. They trail 7-0. Scott Miller to punt his first punt of the afternoon. Carpenter takes it at the 38-yard line. And he brings it up to the 48-yard line.
Roselle Park getting possession in very good field position. They have moved the ball well. They were stopped by Brearley on their last possession, but they weren't using all of their offense as they did in the first drive. They didn't go wide off tackle, come back on the inside trap. Meanwhile, I think Brearley has wised up to their offense and has penetrated a little bit more with their linebackers in the middle. Brearley in the 5-4.
Here's Tokarski, the sophomore, with room to roam, and he is close to the first down. Ball comes free, and let's see what the call is. They say it was loose before he was down, and on the turnover, Brearley has it.
Let's take a look. I don't think this was a fumble, but the referees were much closer than we were. Here you see he'll go outside the trap block. There's the trap block, and he makes the decision to go outside. And now here's where the fumble is going to occur. He has the ball. He got hit from behind. Yes, it was. Loose. He dropped it right there. Got hit from behind. Couldn't see the man coming to strip his arm. And Brearley got the break.
And it looked like it was Scott Miller, number 11, about to dive on it. So we'll credit him with the recovery. Capizano tripped up in the backfield. Ball is at the 46, or at least it was. There was a loss of a yard on the play back to the 45. It'll be 2nd down and 11.
And these young men are starting to pop the leather. You can start to hear it up here now, the contact that they're making. Young kids, 15, 16, 17 years old, enjoying this game and popping the opposition when they get the opportunity.
Timeout for an equipment problem. Mike Middachone adjusting his helmet. Straps it up. He's ready to go. Well, it seems to me that it's not quite a friendly rivalry. It's not as if they dislike each other. either. It's somewhere in between. But there isn't much love lost between these two schools. They've got a big, small school rivalry going. Chalensky spinning, fighting for extra yardage. That's sometimes where you come up with that ankle injury or a knee injury. Man down low's got you by the ankle, and you're spinning around and exposed. Thankfully, no injury to the junior.
Here's a definite passing situation. 3rd and about 8. Let's see if Brearley is going to put the ball in the air. There's Bobby Taylor. A man who has really put this program on the map, and year in and year out comes up with a big, rough, tough team.
Well, they elect to keep it on the ground in Campisano, though he will cross midfield, will be well short of the first down. And so we will have Scott Miller's 2nd punt.
You know, someone asked me, how does Brearley end up with these big teams every year for such a small school?
That's a good question.
They are a Group 1 school, and they have scouts in the stands all the time from Pitt, Penn State. I saw 2 coaches here from colleges looking at this ball game. They've got big kids. Hubbinger, 6'5", 235. Canterman, 6'3", 210. Scott Miller, 6'4", 225.
Here's Miller on the punt. Carpenter at the 15-yard line bounces off a player and is snowed under. Good coverage on the play. Hubbinger down there along with Rich Lyons. Pete Kiriakaitis also doing well on the coverage. Both teams spend a lot of time working on their special teams. It's the little things that make the difference between winning and losing programs. Roselle Park has been successful for a number of years, going back to the Herm Shaw years. Brearley, as you said, has done very well under the tutelage of Bob Taylor, and is working on the little things, such as special teams, constantly, that has enabled these guys to do as well as they have. Mirabella gets to the 20-yard line, maybe a pickup of a yard. Canterman, Mike Chalensky, and Tom Ramos coming up from the bottom of the pile.
You know, Matt, you mentioned Roselle Park's football coaches. They've had some great coaches, really? Beginning with the Herm Shaw, but you've had the Jack Bicknells, who, of course, is the head coach now at Boston College. You had Joe Gardy, who was at one time the head coach of the Portland team in the old
WFL?
World Football League, and later was the defensive coordinator for the Jets. You've had some great coaches, and John Wagner is another one of those coaches that really takes advantage of the spirit that this town has for football and the material that come out every day on the field in September.
John Wagner told me during the week that Joe Gardy now works for the NFL as a supervisor of officials, or one of the supervisors for officials. Rates them for the NFL. Oh, we had a little movement, and we'll have our first penalty of the afternoon. Looked like that the quarterback may have just held the snap count a little too longer, and that's what it is. They've got a new quarterback in there. I didn't notice, but Steve Scribano is now at the quarterback spot and not John Cunningham. And so perhaps having that switch caused, with a different cadence, caused the team to jump.
It looked like Tokarski made a movement. It's the first penalty we've had, and it's a technical penalty as opposed to a contact penalty. And I've been impressed so far by the organization of both these football teams. You mentioned the kicking game. Both of them wall up on the punt return. The backs just haven't been able to get to the wall. They block inside very well on the kickoff returns. Very, very well organized that time. They made the mental error, went in motion.
Second and long. Scribano to the air. The lefty fires, and it's picked off by Mike Ramos. McCaffrey was the intended receiver, and Scribano overthrew him. Last year, in the state final, Scribano threw 5 interceptions against Brearley, and he throws one here today. The sophomore, Mike Ramos, one of the stars of the future, according to Bob Taylor, comes up with the intercept.
There you see it. It's a pass really in the direction of the receiver. Ramos had an excellent shot at it and gets the interception to give Brearley the ball. Brearley has not been able to capitalize so far. There he is. Mike Ramos, the Soph, did a great job getting that interception.
from the 44. Foucher hands it off to Capizano, and Capizano did two things. One, almost broke it. Two, almost lost it.
Let's take a look. He got a great job going on this block here. Now the ball flies up. You see it comes out of the crooks of his elbow. He does a great job of bringing it back in and got the yardage to make it 2nd and about 2. And Bobby Taylor was yelling and screaming on the sideline to fire up his Bears.
2nd down and 2 from the 36. They'll go to their junior, and Chelensky was grabbed by Zenario in the backfield along with Lonecker, and he is a yard shy of the first down. They're on 4-down territory, so they'll go for it twice, no doubt.
Lonecker at 6'3", 225, you'll see, comes crashing in and forces him to go outside. Watch, right at the bottom. There's Lonecker right there, and that forces him to run a little bit outside of the pattern he wanted to be in. Chelensky could not get the clean lane that he needed up the middle.
Under 6 minutes to play in the first half. Brearley gets the first down, and Capizano still on his feet. And Joe Capizano, with the great second effort, gets down to the 20-yard line.
Joe Capizano, a great job of keeping his balance. He got hit twice. Let's take a look at it. Here he gets the handoff. Now watch number 70 get a piece of him. Then he comes out here, stiff arms, and keeps his balance, puts his hand on the ground, scrambles, and boy, he looks like a great back. The junior, Joe Capizano, 5'9", 160. They have to call him Cappy.
He's the leading rusher for this ball club, not only today, but on the year. He gets the call once again, met by the middle linebacker, Len Zenario, a 3-year starter for Roselle Park at that position, and you're not going to fool a 3-year starter all that often.
That time, Rich Miranda, number 55, the defensive end for the Panthers, crashed in there and jammed things up, so the ball carrier had to cut up inside.
2nd and 10 from the 20, no gain on the play. Speedy game with just one pass. We've got less than 5 minutes to go. A flag has been thrown as Capizano is hit at the line of scrimmage. Jeff Horowitz and Dennis McCaffrey making the stop. Let's see what the penalty is. I believe it's going to be called against the Bears, and it looks like it might be illegal use of hands.
It's got to be one of those holding 15-yarders that you see in the middle of the line of scrimmage. There's a great deal of hand fighting and combat in tight, and that's exactly what happened. Let's get a look at this play and see if we can pick out the holding. Occurs right up inside here. Well, it's hard to tell. There's so much scrambling. But I'll tell you what, there is not a lack of hitting on that defensive line of scrimmage and for the offensive line. A lot of popping.
10-yard penalty for the illegal use of hands. Brings the ball back to the 30-yard line. It is 2nd down and 20. And Chelensky gets nothing. Maybe time to go to the air for the Bears. They've kept the ball on the ground, even in 3rd and long situations. We have a position here where they are 3rd and 19.
There you see that the Panthers jammed up the inside, and again, Rich Miranda, the senior defensive end, crashed in from the backside, made the hit.
They have 2 kickers they can go to, either Pat Olenek or Mike Vergura, should they elect to go for a field goal.
Wide slot to the right.
Foucher tries to get outside and is ridden out of bounds. Loses a yard on the play. It's 4th and 20. And let's see whether they go for it or try 3. The Bears trail by 7. Gene Mirabella scored in the first quarter for the Panthers, and we've stayed at 7-0. Olenek now comes on. He's got the kicking tee in his hand, and so the sophomore will try a field goal.
That's a long way. That 15-yard penalty really took them out of the field goal area. I wouldn't be surprised to see a fake, because this is an awful long way.
It's a 46-yard try. What they wanted to do was snap it to Olenek, who can punt. I saw them try it in practice. It worked a little better than it did there. They snap the ball right to Olenek, and he tries to punt the ball, sort of like a quick kick. Went off the side of his foot. Now, you called it. You were ready for that fake.
Well, yeah, I thought it was too far, but here's what happens. Olenek has to reach a lot higher than he wants to for the ball, and he kicks it off the side of his foot, and instead of putting Roselle Park down inside their own 10 or 5-yard line, here they are right back out at about the 25.
We'll call it at the 25, so a 5-yard punt. Here's Carpenter. Ooh, he was brought down hard. Mike McCoy, the linebacker, a 2-year starter, seemingly came out of nowhere and really landed Carpenter with a hard hit.
Let's take a look at McCoy. The coaches call this skating. He just comes across along the line of scrimmage. He's to the left of the screen, and you see that the ball carrier thinks he's going for a touchdown, and he just scrambles along and does what they call skate along the side of the line of scrimmage and makes the hit.
Cunningham is back in there as the quarterback, and he gives the ball to Mirabella, who gets the first down across the 40 up to the 43-yard line.
And again, we see the offensive line of Roselle Park making the traps and the kickouts that are necessary for a successful execution of those plays.
We have a timeout taken, another equipment timeout taken by Brearley. Looks like it's Mike Ramos who is adjusting his helmet this time. 2:58 left to play in the first half. And the score 7-0. Off to Carpenter. He's got a first down inside the 45-yard line. Joe Capizano making the stop, but Roselle Park with a late drive. Certainly if they go up 13, anywhere from 13 to 15, nothing. A tough road for the Brearley Bears. They don't want them to score. And now we get a timeout, an official's timeout once again, and we have an equipment adjustment, this time for Mike Chalinsky.
Roselle Park, as you said, Matt, on a roll here. Moved the ball very well late in the first half.
Mirabella tried to go left side, and Tom Ramos just stuck out his arm, got a little bit of his jersey, and was able to wrestle him to the ground. Ramos, an interesting story, Al. He's listed as 80 in the program, and the reason that he is listed as 80 is because he was battling for a tight end position, but they needed a tackle on the offensive side of the ball, and he volunteered for it. He was in a battle with Scott Miller for that starting tight end spot. He said, listen, I'll go to tackle. So they had to give him a lineman's number. That's why he's wearing 66. They haven't had time to change it in the program. His brother, Mike Ramos, making the stop in the secondary, but when your safety makes the stop, that's not good news as Carpenter picks up the first down, and Roselle Park calls time.
Let's look at what Carpenter does, boy. He does a great job running along the line of scrimmage and finding out when he wants to make his left turn. Here he is. Now watch the 53 and 67. Those are the linemen that he's trying to read. He's running to his right. Where is that left turn? Here it is. We cut it right up inside there behind Heller, and boy, Heller really leads these backs well, and they know just where to go if they follow him to find that path, that left turn to the goal line.
Last year against Roselle on Thanksgiving Day, Mike Heller, who started as a sophomore on the offensive line for Roselle Park, was injured and missed the championship game against Brearley. John Wagner says, take nothing away from Brearley. They beat us 35-6, but that loss of, believe it or not, a sophomore caused us a lot of problems.
Well, I'll tell you, that is a tough sophomore because he's impressed me all along this afternoon on both sides of the line of scrimmage, offensively and defensively, coming out of that linebacker position.
Ball at the 32-yard line, 1st and 10. It's Mirabella who gets the call. He tries to go inside, look to go to his left, cut it back up. pickup of about 5. It'll be 2nd down and 5. 1:20 and counting to play in the first half.
Mirabella is limping badly in that backfield. Big
He goes
guy.
out to the wing on the right side with 74 yards on the afternoon, but hurting. Yeah, you can see him really limping as they go to the air. Cunningham fires, and it's caught by Carpenter off the deflection. Zenario, the intended receiver, could only get a hand on it, and Carpenter picked it out of the air. And quickly, Roselle Park calls for time.
Well, they're on about the 15, Matt. Is that the 15? Yeah, it's at the 15-yard line. The clock looks like there's a little less than a minute left, and it was a real smart play for John Wagner to call a timeout. Let's take a look. Let's take a look at the second pass play from ground level. It's deflected, and right there to pick it off and get that yardage, Phil Carpenter, the 5'6", 150-pound senior.
Coming into the game, had caught just one pass. Again, neither of these teams likes to throw the ball. He has doubled his reception. Roselle Park has a good kicker as we take a look at their offensive and defensive statistics in terms of yards per game coming into the contest. Quite obvious that they have been doing the job on their way to that 3-0 record. They have a good kicker in Mike Small. So if they can punch it in, they'll go for 3. Small has come into the game as a receiver. He is split to the left side. From the 15, Carpenter looking to cut it inside and is met by Scott Miller. Miller just shed a block, strung it out, stuck his big arms in there and brought him down. Roselle Park quickly huddles it up. Time running out in the first half. 2nd down and 9. Carpenter again with the call, met by Chalinsky after a yard gain. And let's see, Roselle Park may look to call a timeout here.
They should. They certainly should.
They're looking to John Wagner for some instruction. He yells out a play. They've got 21 seconds. This may be a pass play in an attempt to at least stop the clock if it's an incompletion. 3rd down, 14 seconds left. And now timeout called.
Gee, they should have called that timeout 20 seconds ago. They wasted 20 seconds trying to get off that play, and they wanted to get another shot at the end zone, and if not, then bring in their field goal kicker. However, now they have to bring in their field goal kicker and use that timeout. Just a tough situation for the Roselle Park Panthers. They should have called timeout in the first place and then maybe made some adjustments, but they didn't want to use. They wanted to save that timeout for after taking one shot at the end zone. I guess they only had one left, and now here they are with the timeout. A couple seconds on the clock, and they brought in their field goal kicker.
Mike Small on to try the field goal. Next week, Al and I will be in Union County once again when we'll bring you the Summit versus Union matchup, and that can be seen next Saturday at 8:30 and next Sunday evening at 9:30 on TV3. Mike Small on to try the field goal. It'll be a 31-yard attempt. McCaffrey to hold. 10 seconds remain. And it's up, and it is good. A 31-yard field goal by Mike Small. And that extends the lead to 10-0.
That is a shot in the arm for that Roselle Park offense. What it does, obviously, is take Brearley out of the game for one touchdown. In other words, Brearley is going to have to score more than one touchdown to tie or win the ball game, and that was a big factor in the final outcome should this remain as tight as it has been throughout the first half. Let's take a look at Small, how he follows through on that sidewinder soccer type kick. Watch his foot and watch how high he brings it. Head down, high up, swings that hip around, and wow, we just missed the reaction. They just jumped out of their shoes when they saw it go over the uprights.
Now, it's only been 15 years, it's been less than that, since kicking has become an important part of the high school football scene. Squib kick picked up by Capizano. And Campuzano is driven down to the turf at the 25. 2 seconds remaining in the first half, and Brearley with an opportunity for one play. And at this point may very well just simply kneel on the turf after the snap from center and go into the locker room. That Roselle Park drive, 8 plays, 64 yards. And it culminated in the small 31-yard field goal. Well, as they put the ball ready for play, the clock ran out the remaining 2 seconds. And so the teams will head off to the locker room. Roselle Park looking to win this rivalry game between them and the Brearley Bears. They'll go in leading 10-0.
Looking for the car of your dreams? Riverside's Auto Plan can help. In fact, for home mortgages, home equity, construction, and commercial loans, look to Riverside. See Riverside for checking accounts, CDs, money funds, or any other type of banking service. Even that get-away-from-it-all vacation. Look to Riverside for all your banking needs. Now you know why we say, we're on your side. Bank on it.
We understand that in today's world, you need more than what your parents needed when they came to America. You need knowledge and skills and the opportunity to try out what you've learned in business and industry. In the same tradition as Lady Liberty, Jersey City State College stands for opportunity. We give you college together with on-the-job experience. We give you the power to change your tomorrow. We're the co-op school. Call 1-800-624-1046.
When you're planning a special reception or party, plan on the newly renovated Westwood in Garwood. You'll enjoy luxurious banquet rooms, mouth-watering meals, and professional service from business meeting and seminars to elegant wedding receptions. Call the newly renovated Westwood.
We're the brand new kid on the block with 24 years experience, and I think that sets us apart.
The Westwood, North Avenue in Garwood. Convenient from the Garden State Parkway.
Montclair Bloomfield Ford, your key to greater automotive value. For 30 years, Montclair Bloomfield Ford has been servicing your community's automotive needs. Let us serve you.
Hi, I'm Joe Carley, inviting you to visit me, my staff, and our 30-bay service center. Our insurance-approved body shops and our ideal sales, leasing, and rental facilities. See us for the low-price 86-car truck of your choice.
And Montclair Bloomfield Ford features over 50 A1 quality used cars. Montclair Bloomfield Ford, 15 Bloomfield Avenue in Montclair.
We are at halftime. Roselle Park on top by a score of 10-0 via a Gene Mirabello 1-yard run and a Mike Small 31-yard field goal. And right now performing for us down on the field, the Roselle Park High School Marching Band under the directorship of Frank Ferlazzo, and we'll give a listen. The Roselle Park Marching Band performing for us at halftime. We're going to take a short break. We'll come back with the Brearley Bear Band right after this.
Discover what's happening in your community. Find out about the issues affecting your lives. See the best in local sports. Learn more about your state and its people. Nationally recognized as the best in local programming, we're TV3. Discover a new alternative. TV3, keeping you in touch with your community.
The David Brearley Marching Band on the field performing for us at halftime. Their director is Lou Giusto, and the instructional staff consists of Keith Griffin and Angelo Tripodi, John Marino, Pam Reeves, and Diane Policastro. The drum majors are Susan Buckner and Christine Collins, while the color guard captains are Leanne Capita and Kim Tarullo. So we'll give a listen to the Bears. It's 10-0 at halftime. Roselle Park on top. We'll take a short break. We'll come back with the third quarter right after this.
Looking for the car of your dreams? Riverside's Auto Plan can help. In fact, for home mortgages, home equity, construction, and commercial loans, look to Riverside. See Riverside for checking accounts, CDs, money funds, or any other type of banking service. Even that get-away-from-it-all vacation. Look to Riverside for all your banking needs. Now you know why we say, we're on your side. Bank on it.
We understand that in today's world, you need more than what your parents needed when they came to America. You need knowledge and skills, and the opportunity to try out what you've learned in business and industry. In the same tradition as Lady Liberty, Jersey City State College stands for opportunity. We give you college together with on-the-job experience. We give you the power to change your tomorrow. We're the co-op school. Call 1-800-624-1046.
When you're planning a special reception or party, plan on the newly renovated Westwood in Garwood. You'll enjoy luxurious banquet rooms, mouth-watering meals, and professional service from business meeting and seminars to elegant wedding receptions. Call the newly renovated Westwood.
We're the brand new kid on the block with 24 years experience, and I think that sets us apart.
The Westwood, North Avenue in Garwood. Convenient from the Garden State Parkway.
Cheerleaders trying to stay warm, Al, in the cold weather as we prepare for the start of the second half. Taking a look at halftime statistics, we can see that it's mostly been on the ground. And Roselle Park with that one long scoring drive for a touchdown and another long scoring drive that led to the field goal. So they dominate in terms of total yardage. Not many turnovers, just a couple of penalties and just a few passes. So we had a very quick first half.
Well, Roselle Park has a 100-yard, almost a 100-yard advantage in total yardage, and it's reflected in the scoreboard also. And I think looking at those stats, offensive plays,
they've run 10 more plays.
They've run 10 more plays, and Brearley's lucky to be as close as they are in terms of statistics as far as the scoreboard goes, and Brearley's going to have to put it together on this drive.
They get the ball to start the second half, and Joe Capizano takes it at the 15. And he brings it out across the 35. So Brearley will have pretty good field position to begin things. The ball at the 36-yard line, and they trail 10-0. We'll
There's
see.
a part of the spirit here.
By the way, it is Parents' Day. The parents of the senior players, along with the parents of the senior cheerleaders and band members, were honored. The players' parents before the game, band and cheerleader parents at halftime. How soon into the first series will we see any adjustments that Roselle Park has made or that Brearley has made?
Well, Brearley already showed us one of the things they want to do. They want to run Chilinsky up the middle. Chilinsky did a nice job reading the block inside on that first dive play. And I believe that Brearley is just going to stop all this wide stuff and start coming straight ahead and see if they can move around this Roselle Park defense.
Well, they've split the offense up this year with 3 runners with over 100 yards rushing. But Chilinsky was the man they expected to have the real big year, but they've just decided to split things up. You see that he's got a little over 30 yards. You saw in that last graphic, a little over 30 yards on the afternoon. They go to Capizano, and he has a short gain. It'll be 3rd and 5.
Well, that time they ran up the gut with Chilinsky leading Capizano straight ahead, and Roselle Park jammed it all up. We have a timeout now call for one of the Roselle Park defenders having their equipment worked on. It looks like a shoulder pad strap.
You know, in a high school game, you usually will see more stoppage in action for a penalty or maybe an incompleted pass, but with just 2 passes thrown all day and with just 2 penalties called all day, I think we've had 4 or 5 clock stoppages because of equipment situations.
Well, Matt, one of the other things that's a factor here is that Brearley has never lost a game that we have televised.
Here at Ward Field.
Right here at Ward Field, and they're in danger now if they don't get this drive going of breaking the streak.
Bad snap. Foucher couldn't handle it, was able to cover it up, but it's 4th and long in a punting situation. Scott Miller will come on, and he will do the punting, his 3rd punt, and Bobby Taylor not happy at the early going of the second half.
Let's take a look. Oh, that was Foucher. He spread his hands a little bit on the snap. It may have been a pass play, and he may have been trying to pull back a little earlier than he normally does on the running patterns, but he separated his hands. That was a good snap by the center, and Foucher just separated his hands too early.
Line drive punt. Small handles it at the 31, tries to reverse his field, and McCoy, the first man to meet him. Kenny Heim also in on the play, and Rob Canterman. Dom Pasquarella, the 4th player down there for the Brearley Bears. Roselle Park will have it, leading 10-0. Ball at the 33-yard line. We had a visitor in the booth. And Tony Siragusa, one of those former All-State Brearley players, now at Pitt, the week off, coming off the win over Notre Dame last week, seeing his alma mater play. Tony's younger brother plays on his club, Elio. Running play, nets nothing. Mike Ramos, Mike Chalensky making the stop on Chris Tokarski.
Well, we just saw an example of the defensive adjustments while we have another equipment timeout for Roselle Park. Chalensky was keying another man in the secondary in the backfield for Roselle Park. That time, Chalensky was right there. He didn't go with the fake. He didn't go with the misdirection from his linebacker position. Skated along the line of scrimmage and made the pop just as the off-tackle kick-out block was made by the pulling guard. Let's see how we do it now. I think Chalensky's starting to key the guards rather than the backs.
2nd and 8 from the 35. Third pass of the afternoon is a completion to Len Zenario. Zenario driven out of bounds by Ken Kinney. Kinney shaken up a little bit on the play, but now back on his feet and returns to action. Short of the first down. 3rd and about 2.
Lenny Zenario, 5'9", 215. He's a little tank in that offense. He really packs a lot of power in that short 5'9" frame. And if you don't hit him, he's going to blast you over. Cunningham at the quarterback.
The other pass thrown by Stefano, and that was an interception. Brett Hubbinger, Mike Chalensky combined to make the stop on Gene Mirabella. So the 3rd down try for a 1st down is halted, and it will be a punting situation.
And again, Chalensky is following his keys a great deal better. Watch him show up right here. He's really doing a much better job. Well, I don't think we called his name for a tackle in the first half, and here he is in that drive. 2 solo tackles to stop Roselle Park on their initial possession of the second half.
Carpenter on the fake, has some room. He has the 1st down and more. Flag has been thrown away from the ball movement. Carpenter seems to be shaken up. He is holding his right leg. Looks like it might be a hamstring. He has gotten the 1st down. It was a straight out fake. He went to the wide side of the field. Now they say no flag.
I don't know why they threw the flag. He may have been marking. The official's talking about it now. Let's take a look, though. Here you see, this is a called play. There was no decision. He just took the ball. He saw that Brearley has a tendency not to rush their ends or to bring their defensive ends in very tightly. There you see the injury. He kind of just skipped.
He pulled up
and probably pulled a hamstring muscle.
And you saw the flag fly. I think what might have happened, Al, is the official was watching some of the downfield men, not realizing that it was a fake, thinking it was a punt. Perhaps it was, in his mind, an illegal man downfield.
Okay.
But because of the fake, it was an inadvertent flag. 1st and 10 for Roselle Park. Following the fake, they keep possession from the 41. The call goes to Tokarski, and the sophomore inside the 35.
Boy, what a break for Roselle Park. Actually, it wasn't a break. It was an excellent observation by their coaching staff to pick up the fact that Brearley wasn't pressing the punter from their right side, the Roselle Park left. And here it was. Brearley looked like they had picked up momentum, stopped Roselle Park on their initial possession, and Roselle Park capitalized on their defense and ran that play, got the 1st down.
Scenario loses the ball, and Capizano recovers. Cannerman and Heim made the hit. The ball got popped free from behind. It might have been an arm coming around to make the stop that punched the ball free. Capizano recovered, and a break for the Brearley Bears.
Exactly, Matt. That's what happened. He was carrying the ball. Let's take a look at it. Zenario carries in his right hand. Now watch, right where he can't see, coming from the bottom of the screen.
Helmet, maybe.
Right there. Contact came from behind. The ball got loose. And Brearley's has got the break. Let's see if they can move the ball.
Ball at the 22. They go up the gut to Capizano. Unable to break the tackle of Small. Had he done so, he could have gone all the way. Has the 1st down up to the 36-yard line.
The shot of the crowd. Let's look at it here. Watch this little trap block inside. That opens up the lane. Capizano jumps out of the hands of a tackler, breaks it into the secondary. Some nice downfield blocking by the Brearley Bears. Capizano got himself a nice piece of yardage.
Leading ball carrier on the afternoon. Voucher on the keep. That little counter option that we talked about earlier that he likes to run and that he runs fairly well. Well, it didn't fool anybody.
That time the fake to Capizano wasn't real good. Capizano did not follow through with the fake, so the secondary for Roselle Park was not fooled by it. They stayed home and they stopped Voucher as he tried to turn the corner over here on the bottom of the screen.
Short pickup. Second and long. Cholinsky gets the call, and he breaks the plane of the 40-yard line. Scenario, Mirabella and Joe Sweeto making the stop. Sweeto, heavyweight wrestler. We've seen a bunch of heavyweight wrestlers in our first weeks of coverage out. But here's the story of an athlete who does very well wrestling. Goes out in the spring, is the sectional champion in the shot put, loses some weight over the summer, sheds about 20 pounds, comes back at 6'1", 255, but with so much more confidence because of his success in other sports. Capizano on third down gets nothing as Lonergan, the nose guard, drops him after a gain of about a yard in another punting situation.
Eric Lonergan just was not blocked well. He just fought off the block, sheds the block, and makes the hit. Let's take a look at it. Right there across from 56. Splits through, and he's right on the handoff. Beautiful job by Eric Lonergan, 6'3", 225 nose guard for the Panthers.
High snap that Miller is able to handle. And the ball will be downed at the 37-yard line. So a 21-yard punt by Scott Miller.
You know, Mitichone, number 88, the defensive end for Roselle Park that John Wagner is so high on, comes very close to blocking punts against that Brearley formation. That time, Miller did an excellent job of getting a quick punt off. But I'm very concerned now about the Brearley offense. They haven't been able to move the ball. They got some turnovers against Roselle Park. They're going to have to stop them again. Look for Cholinsky, number 38, reading the keys.
From the 37, Scenario gains about 3.5. So it'll be second down, and we'll call it 6 with 3:54 to play in the third quarter, and Roselle Park leading 10-0.
3.5 is the ideal yardage gained on a ground play. As a coach, 3.5 times 3, 10.5 first down. Do it again.
They taught you that at Villanova, did they? Flag is thrown as Carpenter is close to a first down. Let's see what it is, a clip. And so that'll bring it back. Gene Mirabella speaking to the official, Bob Longordo.
Let's take a look at that clip. You know, the line of scrimmage is a non-clip area if you stay inside what they call the box. Let's see, Mirabella's block, number 32 on Miller.
That's got to be the flag. I think that's what the flag was thrown for.
Well, you know, you usually look, I'd like to see that again. You usually look at where the helmet is. If the helmet's in front of the man, it's not a clip, and the officials are supposed to interpret whether or not the man turned his back. Let's take another look. Number 11, Miller, 32, Mirabella. Where's his head? Is his head in the front? His head is in the front, and I'm not sure that's a clip. However, they've called it. They've penalized Roselle Park 15 yards. Brearley is going to have to stop him here and get the ball and get on the board.
Second and 22. Tokarski gets back to the line of scrimmage, so it will be third and long. And when you are not a passing team, third and long presents all sorts of difficulties. It's not too easy if you are a passing team, but more difficult if you don't throw all that often.
The Brearley defense, especially Ramos, should be looking for that pass right now. They've got some good defenders for Brearley here in the secondary. Mike Ramos, Joe Capizano, Kenny Heim, Ken Kinney. There's the pass. It's a rollout. The man's open if they've got the arm.
And it's tipped. I believe Canterman got a piece of it. They had Middachone open down the sideline, and I believe Rob Canterman, the senior co-captain, 6'3", 210 pounds, got a hand on it.
Let's take a look. There's a fake handoff in the backfield. You see Cunningham come out. He's open. There's a man open. He throws. Look at the extension. Was that Canterman that got up there? Rob Canterman really extended up into the air, batted the ball down, and Brearley has done what they wanted. Stopped Roselle Park, forced them to kick.
Almost blocked the Carpenter punt to the Bears. See where they mark it? They mark it at the 41. So good field position, and Carpenter is hurt. Carpenter, after he let that punt go, I don't believe he was run into, but if you recall, on that fake punt, he hurt that same right leg, and that may be, this may be a continuation of that injury.
Let's take a look. It looks like he comes down wrong on it, and also that he's favoring it. Let's watch closely. Watch what happens after he makes contact with the ball. It's up, he's extended. Now watch the way the foot comes down. On the heel and twists it. It just kind of collapsed back. And it's that injury that he sustained on the fake punt that is reoccurring here at this point in the ball game. The medical staff for Roselle Park is out checking the injury. See them working. I don't think it's a real bad. It's more of a muscle than anything else, as opposed to the bones. Seems to be walking okay, just a little restricted. Mike Longo, the trainer, has been at Roselle Park for a long, long time and has done a successful job getting Carpenter back up on his feet and having these Roselle Park Panthers ready.
Brearley will have to do something now. They have been stopped cold by Roselle Park. Foucher to the air, incomplete. And now a flag thrown. Let's see what this is about. Might have been a late hit, an unsportsmanlike conduct penalty of some sort. Heim looked like he was the intended receiver. Kyriakaitis was out there throwing a block.
It looked like offensive pass interference. The ball was poorly thrown behind the receivers, and as the receivers adjusted to the ball being in the air, they stuck their hands out. Either one of them could have been called because they both had the same reaction, but what they did was they put their hands out and shoved the defenders out of the way, and that's illegal, 15 yards. So Brearley puts themselves in a hole, just like Roselle Park did with that fatal 15-yard penalty.
1st and 25. Excuse me, make it 2nd and 25. Offensive pass interference is a loss of down. Cholensky, who has thrown once this year, attempts another pass and has the man wide open. Ken Heim for a 1st down.
What a perfect time to call that play. They needed a great deal of yardage. They were like 25 yards for a 1st down. They pitched to Cholensky, and Cholensky waited. He was smart enough to wait to watch the receiver uncover. There's the pitch to Cholensky. He's looking downfield. Heim, I think, is the receiver. Throws it. It's not a beautiful pass, but he's there, brings it in, and gets that 1st down. And now Brearley has moved the ball in one play, a big chunk of the yardage. Let's see what they can do.
From the 42, rolling out, Foucher throws, has Miller, his tight end. He breaks the tackle, but then Small recovers, but it's another 1st down. Foucher, slow getting up, was hit by 2 Roselle Park players, McCaffrey and Middachone.
And I'll tell you, Foucher got hammered. Watch him come out here. I don't know if we'll see it, but just as he released, bang, he got hit twice, 2 helmets in the chest, and completed the pass to Miller. Another 1st down. Brearley could have found the key here.
That's a tough pass to throw, too. Running to your left, throwing to your right with pressure.
You got to switch your feet and turn your shoulders. And Foucher just was up under the pressure. Good job.
From the 22, Campizano with the carry. McCaffrey making the stop, coming up from his cornerback position. 2-yard gain. 2nd down and 8.
No one blocked McCaffrey. He just was there and made the pop.
1 minute remaining. 3rd quarter, Roselle Park with the 10-0 lead. Brearley taking a long time in this huddle. Foucher does a nice job of reading his hole, and he has a 1st down. Wrestled down to the ground by Small. Foucher running the option the way it should be run.
Great job by Foucher. He sees that Roselle Park is going to let him run and take away the pitch. Watch the Roselle Park defenders. They just sprint to the sideline. Foucher says, wait a minute, that's move for me. Turns it up, outruns a tackler, gets up by the 1st down marker, moves the sticks 10 yards further towards the goal line.
Ball at the 11. And we may not get a play run here in the 3rd quarter. We have 7 seconds left. Let's see what they do. They'll get the snap off. They go up the gut to Chalensky, who is inside the 10-yard line, and that will do it for the 3rd quarter. So the score was 10-0 at the half. It remains 10-0 after 3, but Brearley is knocking at the doorstep. Stay with us. We'll be back with the 4th and final quarter right after.
In the closing seconds, presented by Ocean Beach Marina. The Brearley Bears and the New Providence Pioneers are tied at 14-all in the 4th quarter. New Providence with the football. Quarterback Al Namella forced from the pocket. He's in the end zone, and as he's slipping, he throws the ball away and is called for intentional grounding and a winning safety for the Brearley Bears.
You'll find it on Barnegat Bay. Yamaha power from the world's largest Yamaha dealer. It's Ocean Beach Marina. Shop from a tremendous new boat inventory featuring world-class, well-craft boats and power ride Yamaha outboards, where volume buying power gives you discounts, no gimmicks, just one low price. For factory-trained pros and the latest equipment means quick, efficient service. Ocean Beach Marina, Route 35 South in Lavallette, New Jersey, where you'll find sales and service 7 days a week.
The 2-point safety is the winning margin for the Brearley Bears.
We're back at Ward Field in Kenilworth. Matt Lachlan along with Al Reynoso. The Bears knocking on the doorstep. 2nd down. They can get a 1st down without getting a touchdown. The ball is at the 8-yard line. Bobby Taylor was out talking to his team between quarters. This is an important series right here. Campizano with the call, and Campizano dives forward and is short of the touchdown. He may have a 1st down.
What a great job by Campizano on that off tackle. Let's look at it. Watch what he does. He ducks under a tackler right here. Jumps over a downed lineman and under a tackler, keeps his feet. He does a great job putting his hand on the turf and just keeping his balance to get more yardage. And look at the ground level shot of how close the ball is to the goal line. They're having a measurement right now. You see Coach Vinny Alfano on the sidelines wearing his famous maroon hat. That hat was originally blue. It must be 20 years old.
Ooh, just short.
Just short.
Yeah, Coach Albano, if that was a maroon hat at one point, that's a real old
No, that
hat.
was blue. That was navy blue. It's faded to maroon. And if you ever stole that, it killed you. Can't touch it.
All right, 3rd down and short for a 1st down. They're within a yard of a touchdown. They trail 10-0.
I'd look for Chalensky here. He's the man they like to run in the dive hole to the right.
You called it, and he's in. So the Bears are on the board. And what do, Al? You go for one, and need a field goal to tie or a touchdown to win? Do you try 2 and a field goal wins it for you?
If you got 2, that would make it 10-8, and a field goal would win. If you got 1, it'll be 10-7, and you need a field goal to tie. It's not that early in the ball game. It's kind of late. Looks like they're going to go for 1 and play for the tie.
Nope, they're going to go for 2, and Chilinsky does not make it. Yes. Oh, wait, that's not a signal of good. I think that's a signal of short. There's also a flag. Let's see what the story is.
I know. I think there's some illegal motion by Brearley. The officials making a signal. Illegal receiver downfield, or it couldn't have been. It wasn't a pass play. Some type of procedure.
Failure to wear equipment.
Failure to wear equipment. We saw a man.
Could have been a mouthpiece.
We saw a man take a shirt off.
About up here.
Five-yard penalty.
So it doesn't matter whether he was in or not, but that's what it is. Failure to wear the required equipment. Somebody doesn't have that helmet snapped on. Somebody doesn't have their mouthpiece in. That's all it takes.
Well, I'll tell you, Bobby Taylor went for the victory. He went for the 2 points and got it, but it was negated by the penalty. Now he's got to go for the sure play. He's 5 yards further away.
Vergora on for the extra point. And it is good. So Mike Vergora, the junior, makes it a 10-7 ball game. You know, Al, I'm still not so sure that that signal was that he made it, because it wasn't the widespread hands raised, shoulder width. It was more almost like a safety sort of an indication. Doesn't matter, it's a moot point.
Let's look at that touchdown. Mike Chilinsky, we called it from up here because it's what they like to do. You'll see him just power over the right side of the Brearley offensive line, drop his head and shoulders right here to get that forward tilt that he needs to fight into the end zone. But more critical was the play we just talked about, Matt, the fake extra point, snap over to the huddle that was over on the side, and whether or not he made it into the end zone really is immaterial in terms of the final outcome and the final score. But here we are, 10-7, a brand new ball game. Brearley's got to stop Roselle Park and beat the clock now.
Olenek with a good kick. Carpenter at the 5. Looks to go outside and is tripped down. Mike Ramos shooting through, maintaining his lane, trips him up. And Roselle Park will have it with the 3-point lead. Brearley's scoring drive. Chilinsky's 1-yard run caps a 6-play, 49-yard drive. The 2 passes in there, helping keep the drive alive. Don't forget that 1 option pass that Chilinsky threw on that 2nd and 25 following the pass interference call. Ball is at the 13-yard line. Excuse me, make it the 18-yard line. No gain on the handoff. And the Brearley defense, perhaps, is fired up by the fact that the offense has gotten on the board.
Watch Chilinsky, 38. He is reading much better defensively, following the guards to the play and the ball carrier. And the Brearley defense is playing much better in the second half than they did in the first half when Roselle Park ran up 10 points.
Tokarski gets the call once again. The sophomore tries the middle and picks up maybe 3. 3rd and 5. And ooh, is this an important 3rd down play?
Got another equipment timeout. Looks like one of those knee brace things got loose.
Brearley last year went for all linemen, defensive or offensive linemen, must wear those knee braces. They feel that it has saved a number of injuries. It's optional for anybody else, but the linemen must wear them. Roselle Park is not converted on 3rd down all afternoon. They will this time as Zenario takes the pass coming out of the backfield, and now a flag thrown late.
May have been a late hit along the sideline there by Brearley. Let's see what it's all about. It looks like a late hit. Let's take a look and see what happens in the scenario as he goes out of bounds. There's the pass. It's been open all afternoon. Now he's out of bounds.
Oh,
and
yeah.
56 coming in late.
Mike McCoy with the late hit. That personal foul will move the ball to midfield, and it'll be 1st and 10.
So the little pass play, the 15 yards, and Roselle Park's got all the pressure back on Brearley. Brearley hurt themselves a great deal if they were going to be successful in stopping this offensive thrust by Roselle Park. Now Roselle Park is getting close to the 4-down zone.
So Karski getting the handoff once again. The sophomore was hurt in practice on Tuesday. In fact, did not practice at all on Wednesday, showing no ill effects. Had an ankle injury.
Bobby Taylor giving a defensive alignment to his people.
Cunningham will throw under pressure and is hit by the yard marker, Miller, and Chelensky making the stop.
Miller did a nice job that time. He just kind of stayed along the line of scrimmage, and when he saw the scrambling going on by Cunningham, he got over there and made the stick using the sideline as another defender and chasing the play inside out to the sideline.
Third and long. 8:35 to play in the contest.
They ran that pass play to Zenario last time.
To the air once again, and it's short. Kinney, if he had another step, might have been able to shoestring it and pick it off and go all the way. But it'll be 4th and long, and a punting situation. Ramos and Capizano go back. Mike Ramos, the sophomore, Joe Capizano, the junior, to receive the punt.
Carpenter back. He ran one of these punt formations for the 1st down.
He was hurt on the last punt, don't forget, came limping off his right foot. That's his punting foot. Doesn't look like he was hurt there. Capizano sidesteps Tokarski. And he brings the ball to the 18-yard line. While we have an opportunity, I'd like to thank the Brearley Booster Club, which fed our crew this morning. Provided us with some Taylor ham and egg sandwiches. Bob Reuter is the president, Irene Legg the vice president, along with Lauren Chelensky, who is also the vice president. John DeStefanis is the 3rd vice president. Recording secretary Maureen Penn. Corresponding secretary is Diane Coraggio, and Owen Morrison is the treasurer. And we appreciate all the hospitality. Well, Brearley is trailing by 3, and you know they don't want to tie.
Well, Brearley is taking too long getting to the line of scrimmage. They've got to get out of that I formation, get back to the twin set in the backfield, and run the veer option and the veer dive plays. Chelensky, as a freshman, I can remember him running the veer and breaking past the line of scrimmage very quickly, outrunning the secondary. Here they are in the twin set now. They've got 2 backs back. Let's see what they do.
Foucher pitches to Capizano, but that option is read well by McCaffrey, who makes the tackle, and it's 3rd and long.
You know what's happening now, Matt, with 7 minutes left in the ball game, the linebackers for Roselle Park on 1st and 2nd down have no respect for the pass. 3rd down now, they'll loosen up. It's 3rd and about 11 or 12, so they'll loosen up. But on 1st and 2nd down against Brearley, linebackers are right up on the line of scrimmage and taking away the wide stuff and covering the dive plays also. Here we are in a definite passing situation. Brearley spread out a little bit more offensively. Flanker and a split end.
Foucher under a rush is sacked. Middachone coming in from his right end position, and the opposite end, Rich Miranda coming in to make the sack. It's 4th and long, and an obvious punting situation as the clock continues to drain.
Middachone from his defensive end position, we heard a great deal about him from John Wagner, the coach. And he puts a lot of pressure on the punter. He almost blocked it once. Let's see what he does now. The right defensive end, number 88.
Miller standing in the end zone, and looked like Ramos may have moved on the line, and that will cost the Bears 5 yards. So now Miller will be standing in the middle of the end zone.
Again, a mental error made by Brearley in a critical situation. 4th and long. The punter was back around the goal line. Now the punter is going to be very close to the end line. There he is, about 3 yards or 2 yards from the end line. Again, keep an eye on Middachone, number 88, top of the screen.
Here he comes, almost got it. Carpenter breaks some tackles, cuts back into the inside, and finally is sandwiched inside the 15-yard line. Good punt return by Phil Carpenter, and Roselle Park in great field position from the 14.
Remember, Roselle Park has a successful field goal kicker, so they're in the 4-down zone already. And if you don't know what we mean by the 4-down zone, what we're saying is if it's 4th and 1 or 2, they can go for it and not give up a great deal of advantage, because if they turn the ball over to the defense still has a long way to go, and they get it.
Middachone came oh so close to blocking that. And Carpenter did a great job returning the punt, setting up this excellent field position. Karski looks right side. Chelensky making the stop, meeting him head on.
Again, that was number 44, running along the line of scrimmage. Chris Tokarski trying to make the left turn. That time, Chelensky was there. Here's his cut. Here's Chelensky, 38, helmet contact. He gets down a little bit lower, Tokarski does, and gets a little more yards than he could have.
2nd and 7. They go on the inside, handoff to Carpenter, who is inside the 10-yard line. It'll be 3rd and less than 5, 3rd and about 4.
Brearley starting to look tired, starting to look depressed, starting to look like they've lost a psychological advantage. Roselle Park now running even faster, or looking like they're running faster, because they smell that victory. The clock is down to 4 minutes as they approach the line of scrimmage, very close to the goal line.
Scenario with the call, and is met by Olenek, the sophomore nose guard. They feel that Olenek may be the best they have ever had at that nose guard position, and he is only a sophomore. Well, 4th down, and Small is on to try his 2nd field goal. Ball will be marked at the 17-yard line, makes it a 27-yard field goal. It's blocked.
That's a live ball.
And it rolls out of bounds. Someone came bursting through the middle. It might have been Canterman who came through to block the ball.
Let's take a look. It looked like number 64 for the Bears. See who it was.
That's who it was. Canterman, the co-captain.
We said at the top of the show that Canterman was one of the leaders of this team, and boy, he surely came through with the guts play at that position.
Foucher, who must go to the air now, his club trailing late in the game, is sacked.
Foucher looking for the quick look-in pass. Couldn't really see over the defenders. Roselle Park pressured him right away. And Brearley is being forced to throw the ball and they don't like to throw the ball.
2nd and 15 from the 12. 2:40 to play.
Taking a long time is another thing that could hurt them badly if they don't move it quickly.
They're going to have to hurry. And they just get it off. Chelensky tripped up by Zenario. Zenario was blocked to the ground, and as he saw Chelensky go by, just threw up his right arm and tripped him up.
Exactly. Chelensky, if he could have moved to the outside, he had a great deal of running room, but he really couldn't get himself going, and Zenario, from standing or being on his hands and knees along the ground, just raised himself up a little bit and got a piece of Chelensky.
Chelensky will pass once again, and it's picked off. McCaffrey with an interception, breaks a couple of tackles, and finally is driven out of bounds inside the 5. A flag is thrown along the Brearley sideline.
Hard to tell what that's about unless there was interference. It looks like it might have been initially some kind of interference. They're talking to the Brearley people, so I'll bet that they were holding up the receiver on the initial pass before the ball was thrown. It looked to me like at the bottom of the screen that the receiver along the sideline was being held up by one of the Roselle Park defenders, and it negates the whole interception. We see the whole thing over.
Waiting for the call from Bob Longordo. Coming into the game, McCaffrey had picked off 1 pass. He led the team with 10 interceptions last year. So we have an illegal use of hands against Roselle Park.
Here's what I think happened, Matt. Foucher got the ball, pitched it back to Chelensky. Kenny Heim, number 22, was running up the sideline. He was the man that caught the pass when they ran the play before. The defender, I don't know really who it was. It may have been Carpenter, it could have been McCaffrey, grabbed a hold and got a piece of Heim as he was going up the sideline. Chelensky threw it to the other receiver. When he saw Heim knocked down, he took a shot at throwing the ball deeper at Karakaitis, I think. And Karakaitis, of course, was overran the pass. It was intercepted. Now timeout for Roselle Park. Anyway, the flag was thrown, and the play was called back. They got a 15-yard advantage from the penalty, and now it's 3rd and about 2.
And I think John Wagner has called a very smart timeout. His team felt that perhaps they had sealed the win with that interception. There's less than 2 minutes to play, 1:41 showing on the clock. And hey, you put your head down for a moment, somebody goes by you, now you're trailing with less than 2 minutes to go. So he calls timeout, settles his club down, make sure they regain their concentration.
This late in the game, the Brearley Bears really are going to take 2 shots at this first down. If they don't make it on 3rd and 2, they'll try it on 4th and 2. They really don't have too many other options open to themselves. Here comes Bobby Taylor. He's going to run right by Pete Albano, wearing the famous maroon hat that used to be blue in one day and age. There he is.
Coach Albano and Mike Londino next to Vinny. Mike, an assistant, along with Carl Peterson. Chelensky gets the first down. So Brearley will maintain possession. The clock stops as they move the chains. 1:36 to play. And this is winding toward a thrilling finish. Brearley has won some games at the buzzer on TV3. 1:21 now left to play. Incompleted pass.
That could be a lateral. Let's see how they call it. No, it was a forward pass.
pass.
Boy, that was close to a lateral, and Roselle Park knew it. They picked it up as if it was a fumble. Very well coached, very alert to the situation. Very close to a lateral pass.
If Capizano was behind Foucher when that ball was thrown, then that's a free ball. but he was in front of him, therefore an incompleted forward pass. 1:17 to play as the clock stops with the incompletion. 2nd and 10. Foucher to the air, looking to elude the rush. And runs out of bounds. Chelensky to a heck of a block on Rich Miranda along the sideline.
Boy, he gave him a how do you do. Let's take a look. Foucher comes flying out here. Now watch 55. Hello.
Never saw 38, Mike Chelensky. Foucher got out of bounds, but only picked up about 4 yards. So it's 3rd and a long 6. 1:10 left to play. Kirikaitis gets out of bounds, short of the first down. Again, the clock stops. 5 seconds elapsing on that play. 1:05 left to play. 4th and about 2. And for Roselle Park, if they stop them here, could very well be the ball game.
You might have a measurement here. Let's see. They're calling for the sticks. Matt, you called it short of the first down. But I'll tell you, this is ideal for Bobby Taylor if he can now take another few minutes to think about the play he wants to call. He's right over on the sideline with scenario. Everybody's over there. We've got our cameraman right there.
Well, they're not going to bring the chains over. I'm not sure. They had indicated that that's what they wanted to do, but I'm not sure why they decided not to. Now they move the ball back.
Here's our ground level shot. It's well short of the first down.
They've got to get to just before that 5-yard mark, which is the 40-yard line.
4th down. Big play here for the Roselle Park Panthers.
Long 2. And he gets it. Chelensky was hit behind the line of scrimmage, but on second effort, leaned forward and got the first down. Miranda came in, made the stop. I thought he would be halted short, but he leaned forward and got it, Al.
Here it is. Miranda on the backside gets a good piece of him, but Chelensky has momentum and stretches that big 6'4" body for the first down, and there's an advantage. Another timeout called. I don't know who it was. I guess it was Roselle Park, and I'm not sure that's a smart move by John Wagner, because he's got really 1 minute to defend this Brearley offense, and he really has to defend 60 yards. Ball's on the 40-yard line.
We should make the correction. I thought that it was Roselle Park. I had indicated that to you, but it was Brearley that did call the timeout.
Okay, well then Brearley, I think it's a smart move for Bobby Taylor. He's got to keep 1 timeout for the field goal kicker. So he's got to keep 1 timeout in the bank, and he's got to move the ball, and he's going to have to throw, and he doesn't like to throw.
If they have to go with the long field goal, it will be Olenek, the sophomore, and he can do it from about 40. But they've got a ways to go before they get in his range. They'll go to the air. Mirabello with the rush. They've got a man wide open over the middle. It's Capizano. Wants to get out of bounds and does. Great job by the junior. Stops the clock.
What a heady play. He took the ball over the middle and had to fight to get to the sideline. He wanted to get to the sideline to stop the clock. Here it is. Foucher with the fake to Chelensky. Throws. Now watch with Capizano. He almost got a block from Heim here, but he fights his way to the sideline and gets out of bounds to stop the clock. Brearley gets another first down, and they're moving the ball.
From the 44, 1st and 10 to the air. Foucher looks for Chelensky, but is incomplete with his pass. He was under pressure. Minichone hit him as he released the ball. Clock stops, 48 seconds remain. It's 2nd down and 10. I was talking about Vergora and his range, but at this point, I'm not so sure that Brearley really wants the tie. They want to put it in and win.
Well, I'll tell you, that last play was a good example of why Mike Minichone is considered a good defensive end. He just ran right over the block of Joe Capizano and pressured Foucher to throw the ball away.
Chelensky to throw. Has Heim. In and out of his hands. He was double teamed. Small and Carpenter on the coverage. but it looked like it went in and out of his hands.
That could have been the play that changed it around. Had Heim caught that ball, it would have been either a touchdown or doggone close. Beautiful job throwing the ball by Chelensky, set his feet. Last minute defensive play over there stopped it from hooking up for the completion.
3rd and 10, 41 seconds left to play. Heim and Kyriakaitis split to the near side, straight back to pass Voucher, over the middle. Incomplete! Capizano had it, it popped in the air. Had he caught it on the rebound, he was gone.
Here we see it, 4th and 10. Voucher with the fake to Chelensky. Looks, Capizano's open, he throws it. Beautiful job throwing it off the fingertips. He still may have had a shot at it. And victory is starting to slide through the hands of the Brearley team. 4th and 10, they've got to make it go.
Chelensky will throw it one more time, and he's short. His arm was hit as he released it. He had trouble handling the pitch back, and his pass was short, and Roselle Park is now 29 seconds away from winning this ball game. They'll just take a snap, they'll kneel down, and they may have to do that one more time.
Let's take a look. Chelensky really didn't have a chance to plant his feet. He had trouble getting the ball. Now he plants, and 2 guys are right up in his face. He doesn't get the power on the ball, and looks like Roselle Park is going to come out of this with a victory.
I think it was Zenario who did it. Cunningham takes the snap, goes back, steps down. 24 seconds left. He will not have to take another snap. And that will be it. The Roselle Park Panthers avenging last year's 2 losses. John Wagner accepting congratulations along the far sideline. And Roselle Park will move to 4-0 on the year as they defeat the Brearley Bears, their rivals in the Mountain Valley Conference, 10-7, doing it with a Mirabella touchdown run and a small field goal. That offsets Chelensky's 1-yard run, and the Panthers have broken a losing streak of 3 years.
You know what, Matt? We always come out of this place with a real thrilling ball game. It was a thrilling end today again. Unfortunately for the home club, and fortunately for the visitors, it was a loss to Brearley and a victory for Roselle Park.
The Panthers with the victory, 10-7. We'll take a short break. We'll come back right after this.
Montclair Bloomfield Ford, your key to greater automotive value. For 30 years, Montclair Bloomfield